up, y'all? It's your girl FromEmmaJ, and I want to say, one, thank you for tuning in, and two, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, FromEmmaJ, that nice little red button down there. Yes, go ahead and do that. And shout out to everybody who's watching on IGTV. If you don't know, I am in Cape Town, South Africa, so now you know. And many of my friends, a lot of my girlfriends are like, Emma, you need to record more videos. We need to know what's happening. And then I'm talking to a lot of my other creative friends, and they're just like, yo, you definitely need to document this. You need to do something, write it, or do something. FromEmmaJ, like, ah! It's your girl, FromEmmaJ.
I might have to steal her.
Happy Founders Day. These two. Hilarious.
Emma, you know,
Naomi E.J. Campbell.
you just doing the damn thing.
I have other YouTube videos, but I definitely want to just create more short, everything. Every time I say it's going to be short, this always ends up being long, but this is for IGTV as well, so this is really going to be shorter. Just different videos about my life here in Cape Town, South Africa. So with this video, I want to talk about the healthcare system here, which I honestly need to do a little bit more research, and we might research while I'm here. I actually have my phone right here, so that's what we're gonna do. So unfortunately, I had to go to the doctor twice. One was urgent care, and then the other one was the optometrist, which that's not that bad. You know, I wanna make sure I can see. So the first time was going to the urgent care. I actually went to urgent care in the hospital, and I Googled, like, I want 5-star. If I'm over in another country, give me 5-star and I will figure out how to pay for it. So when I got off the plane, this is also in my first video, if you want to go back and watch my first Emma Where You At video on YouTube. For some reason, not for some reason, but when I was on the plane here, it was 12 hours. One flight was 12 hours and the other one was 6, or it was 12 and 9. But on my second part of the flight, my arm started going numb. I think it was this arm. My arm started going numb, and literally from the two, my pinky and my ring finger, all the way down to my elbow, like the whole side was numb, especially when I washed with cold water, like I would feel the tingling. So I went to urgent care. I found like the best one that was actually closest to me. So there was another urgent care that was a little further out, and I also didn't know the lay of the land, so I wasn't trying to go too far, because this is like my third day in Cape Town, so I don't really understand the map like that. So I was like, okay, I'll go to this place. It's kind of walking distance. It was about 10 minutes from where I was at, and I walked there. And I got there, and everybody was super nice, and I went into the urgent care area, and it was actually quiet, unlike urgent care in America. Well, a lot of if you go to urgent care in a hospital, it's pretty hectic. If you go to urgent cares kind of like on the side of the road, or their own standing urgent cares, some aren't pretty hectic, but you're gonna have like a pretty long wait time. The first thing, one of the things that I noticed, because I don't want to do 1, 2, 3 and I get off track. One of the things that I noticed was that, one, the amount of people. So it wasn't like a crazy, like, oh my gosh, it's like people on stretchers at the hospital. It wasn't none of that, because I got lost for a little bit. But then I went to the right direction. And everybody was super nice. Two, when I got in there, they were like accommodating me. They were like, oh my gosh, you're from the US. Okay, so let me help you. This is what you're gonna write here. This is what you're gonna put here. Do you have like any other information? Just let us know. We'll take a copy of the insurance. We probably can't use it, but I'll just print it off anyway. And they were really nice. And then the doctor, he saw me, and I probably was waiting not even 30 minutes. It was like kind of in and out. I waited longer for the test results. So I went into the doctor, I got some blood drawn, did that, waited for the test results because they were instant right then and there, though that's really what took the longest. The nurse was really nice. She was older, and she was just like, oh my gosh, it's so hectic now. And literally she had like 2 or 3 patients, and I'm like, maybe I don't get a lot of people. But it was just like a jolly spirit, even though it was an urgent care in the hospital. Versus the urgent cares in the hospital in America, it seems like people are just overwhelmed. It seems like people don't care. I've been to numerous urgent cares in different states, unfortunately. I have like random, like, I'm a healthy person, but I like hurt myself randomly. There, it just seems like a lot of people don't care. And even when you go to a hospital, it seems like they're so numb because they get a lot of people. And it also kind of reminds me of, I guess, the justice system, where you have like DAs and just like lawyers who are getting these cases back, so they don't care about the client, or they can't put in the care because it's so much. And it seems like in hospitals in the US, they can't put in the care because it's so many different people. It's some people who have insurance, who don't have insurance. And then it's also depending on where you go. Like the fact that I wanted to go to a 5-star and it was lower stars closer to me, I had to actually travel, and a lot of people don't have that, you know, that option to travel to go to a better place. It's like they actually cared here, which is kind of sad in America. It's like, especially there are like stories where people, a young woman actually just died, I want to say in like Detroit or Wisconsin. Kind of like, how can you allow somebody to come into your space and you're supposed to help them, and we have these long wait times in a hospital, and it's just like, that's not fair. Okay, back to the story. And then I also went, so that was my kind of interpretation of that. And it was nice. Like, they actually seemed like they cared. And I don't know if they cared because they didn't have that many people that day, or if they actually take the time. But even all the people, other people around me, they seemed like they were treating them as nice. I also, unfortunately, have an unfair advantage. It's kind of mix and match because some people look at me and don't know if I am African or South African until I start talking. And then they're just like, okay, yeah, you're definitely not from here. And they do treat Americans a little bit better because our money is more, and a lot of people think we have a lot of money, and it's like, no, I'm still on the budget out here. Boom. Next thing, I went to the optometrist here, and I wanted to check because I had a prescription, and then I had a new prescription, but I didn't change it to the new prescription, and now my eyes are just all a little effed up. So I'm like, I work on my computer a lot, and I also work on social media. So the fact that my eyes are just like adjusting to these different lights and, you know, different heights. Sometimes I'm working on my lap, sometimes I'm working on the kitchen counter, sometimes I'm working in like an office area. It just really depends. And I'm working with natural light, or I'm actually working with artificial light. So my eyes are all over the place. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go get my eyes checked to see if the new prescription that I have, if I should just go ahead with that, or if I need a stronger one and I've like messed up my eyes even more. So, as you know, I went to a 5-star optometrist because your girl is balling like that. Not really, I could have went to somewhere else. But I kind of wanted the best of what Cape Town has, just in case. I'm not trying to go nowhere rinky-dink because of money. Like, it literally was like $35 for it. And in the States, you go to Lens Crafters for like $50. So, like, this is kind of like a nicer Lens Crafters, basically. So I went there, this boutique shop. Everybody was super nice. And I've also been to Duke Eye Center. I'm from Durham, North Carolina. So I've been to the Duke Eye Center, and then comparing this eye center to this boutique center in Cape Town, it's really interesting. Like, so in Cape Town, they use like different tools. And of course, it's a little bit older. Their machines are a little bit bigger. They actually had me hold like a machine to my eye. And then of course, they have the regular I don't really know what it's called, but the eye checker that actually like comes in front of you and they click, click, click. So the one at Duke, it literally was like wide. It was like a whole bunch of lenses on there. And the one here, it wasn't that many, and he also had physical lenses, but he would put his hand and he would just put it over the thing, versus at Duke, they're just flipping, flipping, flipping. So that was pretty interesting how they had ordered tools, but it was nice, it was smaller, it was boutique, and he asked me all the questions so he can get to know me, versus a lot of people when you go to these places in the States, they're just like, they don't really care. They just kind of want to check it off and diagnose you with something. But he was like, you know, well, what about your parents? We up in there talking about my mom and my daddy, you know? So of course he needs to know that, but he kind of came off as like a nicer way. And it was really interesting to see that, okay, all of these things that they're using, even though they're a little bit older, they still can work. So that was really interesting. Don't hate on all the older stuff, like older cameras, older cell phones. If something crazy happens, flip phones are going to be the only phones that work, and probably Blackberries. My next video is definitely going to be about racism here. Oh, wait, let me Google to see the kind of healthcare in South Africa. I'm going to healthcare in South Africa, and then I'm going to Google how much is healthcare in South Africa. Because my like doctor's visit was like, I think it was like $200 maybe. This is to the ER, you know? The wealthiest 20% of the population use the private system and are far better served. 79% of the doctors work in the private sector. Okay, so 70% of the doctors, 79% of the doctors work in the private sector, and only wealthiest 20% of the population use the private system. So that means it's freaking 21% of the doctors who are in the public system and 80% of the people who are in the public system. See, it'd be overcrowded. That sounds like America. Okay, well, that was my comparison of the healthcare system in Cape Town, South Africa, guys. Make sure you go and you subscribe to my YouTube channel, FromEmmaJ. Like and comment on this video and let me know if you've ever traveled out of the country. Write in the comments what or where you had to go to get your health care. What did you do and what was your experience? So write that in the comments and let me know, and I'm definitely gonna write you all back. Alright, bye guys, have a great day, or night, or afternoon, whatever time it is you're watching this.